Welcome to Coruzant Technologies, home of the Digital Executive Podcast.
Welcome to the Digital Executive. Today's guest is Brigham Tomco. Brigham Tomco is the CEO and co-founder of Emmersion, a language assessment solution that leverages the power of AI to measure fluency in a desired language. With experience living and working in several countries around the world, Brigham has an extensive background in language learning and international business. He has played a founding role in more than 10 companies in various industries. In addition to his role as CEO of Emmersion, he also serves as chairman for Xylem Global, a private equity-backed investment holding company he founded, and sits on boards of multiple universities, state agencies, and private companies. Well, good afternoon, Brigham. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Awesome. This is so exciting. And again, another day, another podcast, traversing the globe. And we do appreciate your time on here. And so, Brigham, just to get right to the chase, we're going to jump into these questions so we can get your story out to our global audience. So first question here, we're going to talk a little about your career, right? You've got quite the career in language learning, international business, and technology as a serial entrepreneur, and now the CEO and co-founder of Emmersion. Why is it important for companies to employ AI-driven adaptive language assessments? And what does Emmersion solve for?
Yeah, I think in the current market environment where workforces are more global, customers are more global, being able to have a workforce that can communicate both internally and with customers is key. And doing assessment with humans without using AI-driven assessments allow for a lot of error, inconsistencies, human bias, et cetera. And so we've come to market with an assessment suite that allows companies to evaluate and hire quickly remote talent all throughout the world and be very confident that the certified language ability that we provide on each of those candidates allows them to hire someone that's going to fit in their workforce. Our customers are looking to improve customer satisfaction scores, reduce turnover from bad hires, and those are all the things that we help them to do. And our main difference from competition as we try to do this is really the AI and algorithms that we have allow us to evaluate speakers real time and give a accurate score immediately after the assessment. It doesn't require 3 hours or 2 days or 3 days in order to get feedback. So in an environment where top employees are very sought after, we're able to give information to our customers to be able to make hiring decisions immediately based on that language ability.
That's great. And, every day I get on a podcast, I'm actually learning something new every single day, which is really awesome. But you're right. These self-assessments, when you start to integrate some of that machine learning into it, it becomes phenomenal on the types of output you get and the quality. So I appreciate you sharing that and your technology behind it. So thank you. And so, Brigham, you're obviously leveraging some new and emerging technologies within your tech stack, right? What makes Emmersion's adaptive and automated system so special?
Yeah, I think I'll kind of start out with what's commodity and doesn't distinguish anymore, and it's basic automatic speech recognition. So there's many systems out there with IBM Watson, Google Voice, Carnegie Speech, many of these others have systems of evaluating speech immediately for pronunciation, et cetera. But all of us have had experiences where you're using Siri or Alexa and they get 30% of your speech wrong. And so a lot of those tools are great for simple translation, et cetera, but not for giving an accurate score because they're not even accurate much of the time. So a lot of our differentiated technology comes after that speech recognition layer, where we're able to assess ability in grammar, vocab, usage, fluency with the calibrated questions that we're able to ask and the way that our AI is able to look at those answers. And a lot of our AI was really built from years of experience of my co-founder, Dr. Jacob Burtis, of assessing tens of thousands of language speakers in over 60 languages in his career prior to joining Emmersion. So we're able to use best practices that humans were able to use to distinguish proficiency and train that into our machine learning so that we are as accurate or more accurate than each individual human, but probably more importantly is the accuracy between human screeners. So if I have 300 locations around the globe, like some of our customers do, your recruiter is going to have a different opinion and language ability themselves. And that variability leads to inconsistency among hiring. And that's where our AI-based technology can provide the scale and consistency and accuracy all across the world, no matter who's getting screened. And I think it's really important that we take that human bias and human error out of things, especially as we cross borders, so that we're giving everyone a fair chance based on their ability to get a job or not.
Thank you for sharing. And that is so important. And removing bias is, I think, one of the hottest topics out there today. But the fact that machines can actually help give it a fair and honest shot for everybody across the board versus the way humans are biased. So thank you. And so let's talk a little bit about the supply chain during the pandemic here, really being challenged, right? Manufacturers, businesses, they're looking for solutions through every part of their companies. Efficiency is on the call center and customer service side. It's going to be one of the most important aspects moving forward. What about Emmersion's approach and services create greater efficiencies in call center hiring, service, and growth?
Yeah, that's a great question. And what's interesting with the pandemic is we've actually seen more companies go to outsourced providers of these customer support services because it's so difficult, but also so important for them. And so having consistency is one of the key components of this. So helping them know that they're getting a certain level of employee. Most agreements between customer service companies and their customers require a certain level of service level agreement, and many of these require a certain level of language ability. And without accurate assessment, these companies can't deliver on their promises. So it helps the leadership at these companies know that they're hiring the right people and fulfilling the contracts that they've promised to their customers, which allows them to retain and win more customers through that process. And it's interesting. There are a lot of industries that have suffered during the pandemic, but global hiring and remote hiring and automating recruiting processes has been one of those things that's actually picked up or increased out of necessity during the pandemic. And we've been able to leverage our technology to help streamline not just the language assessment of part of the process, but streamline the entire process of recruiting, especially where language ability is required. So if you have to have language for the job, getting an inexpensive, accurate assessment at the front end of the funnel, means your recruiting team is talking to the top 10 candidates and not the 90 other candidates that don't have those basic requirements. So it not only screens for that ability, but it also allows you to get down and let your human team focus on the most important candidates. And I think that's something we often forget with AI. To me, AI should enhance the human experience. Let us spend more time and more money on those candidates who are qualified and let technology do the front end weeding out. And so I really feel like that whole process of weeding out candidates creates a better experience and more efficiency for the companies to get to the right hires in the end.
You're absolutely right. And I think that's a better customer experience, not only for the clients, but for those applicants. There's always challenges with things going into a black hole. And so I think on the front end, as far as customer service you're absolutely right on that. So thank you again for sharing. And Brigham, last question here. We want to talk a little bit about you, maybe get some insights. Could you share something from your career experience that might be helpful for those looking to grow their career in either tech or entrepreneurship?
Yeah, definitely. I feel blessed with some really good mentors that have helped guide me in that path. And so one of my first piece of advice would be to find mentors who have already done what you hope to do in your career. And there's often different mentors for different, categories. I have mentors who are great entrepreneurs. I have mentors who are great sales leaders. I have mentors who are great fundraisers. So that as you look to do things in your career, you're not looking for them to do the work for you. But some of the most valuable thing mentors can do is can help you avoid pitfalls and avoid, really painful and expensive experiences because they've done that before. I kind of always joke with people too. I think, one of the important things in entrepreneurship and building businesses is willingness to take risk. And so talk about having a little bit of type A personality and a little bit of naivety gives you the courage to jump in and try new things. And, if you don't try, you have 100% chance of failing. And I think, having confidence in yourself and belief in yourself, is really important so that you're willing to bet on yourself as you take that risk. And so I think that's some of the things many people struggle with the most is not taking that first step to try. And I think trying younger and earlier in your career is great as well. You have less downside risk, and finding mentors that can guide you, give you the confidence, and take that bet in yourself. I think that's what I've done throughout my career, and it's allowed me on some really fun paths in technology and in international business.
Thank you again for sharing, Brigham. That's so important. And the gems that you just shared with our audience are invaluable. And you're absolutely going to be helping somebody along in their journey as well, especially on the tip around mentorship. I think that's so, so important. Brigham, it was a pleasure having you on today. And I look forward to speaking with you real soon.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. Happy to be here.
Bye for now.